I swear, I am maybe having a little too much fun. Not sure. Not real sure. Anyway, we now have. Let's just focus on Gadget sidebar. So I'm just going to crunch that all the way down. And what we're gonna show here is well, I guess actually let me switch back over to Comfy. So what we're going to show here is the new pending messages, right? In other words, when Gadget is working on something, what happens if you need to provide some steering, right? Like you see Gadget maybe struggling with a couple of choices that you didn't realize needed to be defined in the specification, and you have an opinion that could help settle the matter, and you don't want to leave it to random chance. So, this happens when you're using AI. And when that happens, it's very beneficial to be able to, inject a message in an ongoing task instead of having to cancel the whole task in order to provide, basically a restart prompt or have to start a whole new session, right? Like generally speaking, we try to avoid crashing the car so badly that we have to start a new session. And so that's what we're going to learn how to do here. I'm going to go ahead and take this full screen so that we can do this. I am testing the use of pending messages in a chat turn while you are working. I need you to call several tools so that we can test de-queuing a message into the conversation as we go, and then on my side canceling pending messages, etc., and testing the UI. Please help me test by looking up some best practices in marketing and sales communications for creating the OBS overlay card that we are working on. When you're done with your research and reasoning, write a new prompt for Z Image Turbo that will render the final version of the card. Use the guidance provided thus far. I love the final red concept. Let's make that formal and final. Okay, so I'm just going to set a skill. We're going to scroll down to the Z Image Turbo prompting skill and use that. So you see I've set that. We're also going to leave this session on neutral. Okay, so I'm not going to turn this down to like serious, and I'm also not going to crank it all the way up to creative. Like right now, I want that blend, that perfect normal neutral Gadget blend of knowing when to be a little more creative and knowing when to follow the guidance provided, right? So that's where I'm going to leave that. I did ask it to do some searches, so I'm going to leave that set to 10. I'm going to work on the alignment of this. I'm not super happy with how it rendered this out as a first take, but it's, hey, it got the feature on the screen or else it got the hose again, so it decided that it wanted to put the feature on the screen. Anyway, that is going to be our settings for this. And when I click send, you're going to see that the send button basically turns green and scoots to the left and makes room for the cancel button. All right. And the send button is going to turn green and the background of the bar is going to turn green. That lets me know that I've transitioned into working mode, and anything I type, look, it's easy enough to forget. I'm just saying, like, if you're off doing things in another tab or whatever, you come back to some 20-minute long job, whatever. It helps to have this kind of a visual indicator for like what's actually going on. So when I hit send, just be prepared for that. And then like as quickly as possible, we're just going to type a message asking Gadget to acknowledge that it got this message. No instructions provided, just a quick test of queuing a message and seeing you get it in between your tool calls. And that's all we're going to do. In fact, here, let me open up Prompt Composer. That is something that this needs to do, is move your prompt into Prompt Composer. All right, and let's make this a little more readable. All right, there we go. So, and basically this is, quickly becoming like a test session prompt. Like this sort of looks like what I would be doing over in Gadget code, but I'm using it to help me test things here in Gadget Agent. It's a common system under the hood. So, I'm testing the use of pending messages in a chat turn while you are working. Right. Let me go ahead and just draft a message, and I'll have it on the clipboard. That way I can just use paste quickly, so that we make sure we get that in there as a queued message. Please acknowledge. It would really help if this keyboard wasn't such a piece of shit. Anyway, please acknowledge this message. I'm sending it as a queued message while you work. You should see the message in order in the conversation as we go. Please confirm that 1, you got this message, and 2, it's ordered properly in the conversation as you would expect it to be if I were providing some steering, feedback, or guidance while you work. There. That way we don't have to type all that out. I have it on the clipboard, and we're just going to go. So again, you're going to see the background turn to green. You're also going to see the green dot turn into a rotating green circle. Just sort of indicates that it's working on something, and go. There you go. So, as promised, send button has now become green. You can't send because we haven't typed anything. Let me go ahead and paste that in there. In fact, this works with Prompt Composer. You see the background is green, and so, we can do it this way. Send it. And now you see that there's a pending message there, right? There's your message. You can cancel this, right? So cancel all pending messages, or you can cancel one individual message. I'm not going to. We're going to let this thing think, do what it's doing. It's running on CPU. Let me bring you out to the more full display. Let's see, we'll head back to black box, and you can see that prompt is currently running on the CPU here down below my cursor here. So yeah, it's doing what it does. Oh, there we go. It rendered it out with a nice green appearance. So when it called the tool, it went ahead and did the thing. So the user is testing pending messages in a chat turn. They sent 2 messages. First message asking me to research best practices. So that's the first message up top. And then second message just received, confirming they see the queued message working properly, asking me to acknowledge it and confirm. So it's doing that. So got it. You can see both messages arriving in proper order. First is my message above. Second, this one just now. Everything's flowing correctly. I'm seeing them in sequence, not jumping around or duplicating. The queue is holding up fine under load. So it went ahead and did a Brave search. It's ignoring that, right? Like, it knows the purpose was that test, and so that is that and how it works. Please continue the task. Now that I think about it, I actually want that result as a prompt. So again, we're going to leave ZImage Turbo as the skill. If I didn't want to do that, I click here to clear it, and now you get set skill, so I can do that. Come back down, set the skill. We're going to leave it set to neutral, all the rest as it is, and I'm just going to submit the prompt and go. So now it's going to start the agent. I ran it on the CPU again, so it's going to be slow. Oh well, whatever. That'll be something I'll deal with. But this is generally what it is like to iterate with Gadget Agent in your sidebar. Again, now you're able to provide steering messages while it's working, and that's beneficial because if you see your agent struggling with like some A/B choice, right? Maybe your specification wasn't clear, it's having to make some sort of a decision, basically think on its feet. They do that. They do that well, but sometimes you just want you want the coin, you want to influence the coin flip is the way I think of it, right? You want to influence the coin flip. So now you can just say, look, I see you're struggling trying to decide between this and that. Please just do it this way and type it out. I'm actually thinking of adding a pause button. So in other words, like you can just pause Gadget where it is and hold it up in the current turn while you work on a longer prompt, right? Like there's a degree of stress, believe it or not, in using this stuff where you feel like you have to rush in order to get a prompt in there. And I want to be able to slow that down, right? Like there's, sure, it's fun to work at the speed of need and greed, but what if you really don't want to do that? What if you want to practice your craft? I think that the machine needs a pause button, right? So that we have the ability to, slow the robot down. Like, whoa, robot, slow your roll. Let me give you some guidance here real quick so that we can get across the finish line in one try instead of 50. I don't know. Maybe I should just be token maxing or something. I don't know, running a loop running loops inside of graphs. But I don't really do that. And, to be honest, I'm okay with it running as slowly as it is on the screen. Do you know how much faster this is than it used to be doing this shit by hand? Anyway, we can talk about that stuff some other time. For now, enjoy the scroll. Cheers. I'm gonna keep working on this. I will, man, this next update, it's really gonna be something. You're gonna want to read the blog post is what I'm saying. It's gonna be a small book. There's so much in this forthcoming update. The image generator, this shit. It's wild. It really is. See you around. Cheers.